So here's my pepper plant. I ended up putting it inside a tent with a light as it's approaching winter, and my dog actually ate all my pepper plants before I could harvest any of them, and this was the last one standing, and I wanted to save it and just try to harvest something out of it this year. So this pepper has been growing. There's a few that are coming along. I'm not sure if I'm going to wait for these, but this guy is coming along. Now, you're going to have to check to see what's fully ripe for your plant, or for your vegetables. You want to harvest your seeds when the product is fully ripe. When it's fully ripe, that means the seeds have had plenty of time to grow inside and develop. That's when you're going to want to pick them. So I'm going to wait till this guy's fully red, and we'll pick the seeds out of them. All right, so our first step in harvesting seeds is you're going to want to pick your pepper. Now this one is partially ripe. It's about halfway, I would say, ripe. But that works with me, so we're going to go ahead and pluck it off. Just like that. All right, so the next part is pretty easy. You want to split open the pepper. Now I have my knife right here. And we're going to go ahead and, I guess we can just cut this guy off, huh? We're just going to go probably right down the middle. Let's see what's in here. Down the middle like that, and then just separate. Not bad. You guys can tell there's some seeds in there. For a small pepper, I think that's pretty decent. So yeah, all I did was I just did a little cut on the top there, and then pulled it apart because I don't want to damage any of the seeds. Obviously, you're going to damage some. You just can't help that. So we're easily going to just pick that apart. So there's all the seeds that I just pulled from that little pepper, and that's actually quite a bit of seeds for just one little pepper. So I'm actually pretty stoked on that. All right, so once you have harvested your seeds out of your pepper and you're satisfied for what you got right here, the next step is you're gonna wanna dry them out. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. You can leave them on a paper plate and let them dry out, or you can put them in, I guess you could say, a mason jar. This is a mini jar, and you can put them in there, just leave the cap off, leave them in a dark space, and they'll eventually dry out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. I rounded up all my seeds on this little piece of paper. Here's my jar. Just gonna put them in there. And that's it. So that's all the seeds I got from my one single little pepper. Not a lot of seeds, but I mean, just for that one little pepper, you saw how big it was. That's pretty good. So I'm just gonna leave the jar off for probably maybe a day or two. And once they're dried up, that's pretty much it. But I'm gonna go ahead and mark the lid of the jar of the date. Okay, so let's pretend that these are dry. I just put these in the jar, but let's pretend they're dry. So you're gonna wanna store your seeds now. So you're gonna wanna make sure it's capped tight. You know, you don't want any air leaking into there. So what I would do is I would either put this in a cabinet that I don't really use, or some storage place that's specific for seeds, and put it somewhere in a dark space, so inside another cabinet, or have it wrapped in some sort of blanket maybe, or just somewhere where it's dark and kind of cool. You can also freeze it. I've seen people freezing them. I'm not too sure about that process though, but I can stand behind putting these things in just a dark area, and they work out pretty good. I've used seeds that are a few years old that have just been stored in the dark, and they sprout just fine. So you're gonna want to keep it out of the light, just like that, and find a cool space to let them hang out until they're planted. Another thing too, while the date is important, if you have 5 jars of these, and say this is the oldest jar now, you have fresher seeds from the next harvest, you're gonna wanna use these for the next one, because after about two or 3 years, you will see a drop in sprout rate. I guess you can say it's the only term I can think of is freshness. The seeds do kind of, over time, not deteriorate, but they're not as fresh, and they do drop in sprout rates, is what I've been told. I'm not too sure. I have yet to kind of test that one myself. I haven't really seen it, but that's what I've heard. So you always want to use the oldest ones first for your next sprouting season to make sure no seeds go to waste. All right, so this is kind of a bonus clip, but I have yet to try these actual like black peppers that I've gotten. I've been waiting to try them for actually months since they've been growing, so I'm gonna cut a little piece off, and I'm gonna try it just raw as is. And here we go. Wow. It's got a little kick in there. It's not too crazy though. It's actually pretty good. Look off just a little more piece. This is more like, I guess you could say it's black on the outer side, but it's pretty red on the inside, and I wish I had more peppers to compare. I would love to try the different stages. I did not try it when it was more black on the outside. This pepper started turning red, so really good. It's actually kind of sweet, and then it has like a hits in there real quick, but it's not overpowering. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys learned how to harvest your seeds from your own pepper plants. If you guys have any questions or concerns, or maybe even some advice or tips that you have, be sure to leave them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to read them and answer them if you have any. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in my other video.